Beep, 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 beep. Hello, 'tis I, Court of the EDI Jester. Could you hear a faint echo? It's because there's no carpet in the office. And the place echoes every time I speak. Because the men doing the carpet laying are coming to lay the carpet in the office today. So I've got a bit of a day when I can't do much because it's a mess everywhere. As you can imagine, you've done decorating. You know how it bloody well feels. So I was perusing the Twitters and the news and the Facebook and looking to see what's going on in the world. And I have to ask you the question, good viewers of the channel of the EDI Jester. Have we all gone mad? There's this thing that I tell the warrior teachers about roller coaster versus merry-go-round, right? The thing about trans rights, in fact, not just trans rights, but also critical social justice and all the crap they're pushing about race and everything else, queer theory, is that it's a roundabout. It has no bumps, right? It's not interested in anything that is either, exhilaratingly up or exhilaratingly down or depressingly down, and, it doesn't have any of that. It's an equity of the mind as much as it is an equity of anything else. It really is the most depressing garbage. And that means that if we're on the roller coaster ride and the roller coaster is working okay, right? I.e., there's no long straight paths, and the roller coaster is doing what it should do to us in this culture war, which is itself a roller coaster, is the degree of lunacy, right? The degree of lunacy, which is the sort of hard bit where you go, oh, for God's sake, and then all of a sudden something else happens which is amusing or is good news, and you're like, yay, here we go again, and then off we start again. It's a roller coaster of a ride, this. Which I'm okay with because I prefer the roller coaster to the merry-go-round, and I hope you do too, right? That doesn't stop me from being amazed by some of the stuff that I see. I'm still amazed after all this time, and I imagine you are too, to see the British Army, who this week had some sort of ridiculous meeting about what it means to be a woman in the army that was attended by this sort of lumpen creature in khaki. It was obviously a bloke, right? And they were all sort of sitting there praying. It really is genuinely like a Monty Python sketch, isn't it? They're all sat there going, and we've had the greatest conversation about womanhood because we were talking about womanhood in the army. And he sat there with legs like tree trunks, right? Looking like giant haystacks, but without the beard. To anybody under 40, giant haystacks was a wrestler, a rather big one. Google him, he's your friend. What's that about? What's the army doing? It's like our enemies are going, have you seen the British Army? I think there'll be a pushover. It's absolutely insane, right? This hulking bloke pretending to be a woman in the army. And at the same time, we've got police officers dragging off some poor girl because they're homophobic and because they think calling somebody a lesbian is a bad thing. Yep, so they drag off an autistic girl with scoliosis. And that dragging off seems to, because we don't know the full story yet, have been perpetrated by a blonde-haired woman who, strangely enough, looks like a lesbian. A stereotypical lesbian. And the way she behaved was unbelievable, and she looks about 5'4". So sorry to upset the women, whom I love, right, and I support, who are GC. It's time to bring back the height restriction in the place. Enough. All right, enough. Okay? And that's not just because she said what she said, but because I fear for her safety if she'd said it in the wrong place or done it in the wrong place. This can't go on. It can't go on. I want my policemen to be bruisers, right? Smart ones. That should be the first thing, shouldn't it? Come and join the police force. Are you a smart bruiser? Now, there's an argument to be made, and it's a very good argument, that at times women calm things down, and they do. And they do calm things down. I felt sorry for everybody else that got dragged into that because I have the funny feeling that if she hadn't made the fuss she did, nobody else would have been bothered. That's what I think. There's something wrong, and I don't know what it is, and I wish I did because it would make me feel better. So we've got a hulking brute in the army, pretending to be a woman. We've got a hulking brute of a man pretending to be, a medical genius who works for Biden, the stumbling numpty of the USA. The world is absolutely, completely on its head. Absolutely on its head. And it just leaves me aghast, because then I look around and I see that people are unhappy with Suella Braverman today. Suella! I can't believe somebody must have done Suella de Vil, surely already. Because there was an incident in Oxford Road where people went on a rampage stealing stuff, right? Nippers. Well, they weren't nippers, they were men, right? That's what we need to call them. But they were only 18, they're men, right? So they went on an outrage, Oxford Street, trying to steal all the crap from Oxford Street because they can't afford it, right? Or whatever, just because they could. And that horrible little creature that does that sort of thing, I can't even remember his name now, he said it wasn't me. He came running out the gate, it wasn't me. And then Suella Braverman said that these people must be hunted down and the left have lost their mind. As if that's a bad thing. And somebody said to me, hunted down a la Lord of the Flies. And I said, no, a la Battle Royale. Hunt them down, stick them on an island, give one side a toothbrush, and the other side big bats with spikes on, and we'll see what happens. All right, I'm coming for you. What are you going to do? I'm going to clean your teeth. That's Suella Braverman. And then even more crazy, I mean absolutely bonkers crazy, is the rumour that Rishi Sunak is planning to leave the ECHR. This makes me laugh, right? And it makes me laugh for a number of reasons. Not least of all because the majority of people that seem to be moaning and whinging about the fact that they might leave it are the same people that are moaning and whinging about the fact they lost a vote and we left Europe. As if that wasn't now a done thing and you need to shut up so we can get on with stuff, right? It's a done thing. We're not going back. That's how democracy works. These people don't like democracy. So they're losing their mind because they're frightened that we're going to leave the ECHR. The European Union, who said they joined the ECHR 10 years ago, still haven't. I wonder why. Why wouldn't the European Union join the ECHR? Well, they won't join the ECHR because they know it interferes with their sovereignty, which is exactly what it's doing with us. We left Europe and we are a sovereign country. Britain is a sovereign country, right? The UK is a sovereign country. We'll make our own laws, thank you very much. We don't need the Europeans to tell us what to do anymore. That's done. Because what Winston Churchill's original intention was of producing the documentation that makes up the ECHR was to bring Europe, who had just taken part in a war, along with us, against the Nazis, to make sure that their European laws were up to the scratch of the human rights laws of Britain, which were the greatest in the world. Nothing touches the UK for human rights. Those human rights have been built into our framework for a long time, right? Even going back very, very long time towards the end, even when there was slavery. The minute a slave set foot on Britain's coast, they were a free man. Britain has been a beacon in human rights for this country, a beacon. And yet, the same people who moaned about Brexit are moaning about the ECHR. And I know there'll be those of you that are nervous about it on the left, right? And nervous about it in the centre. I'm not nervous about it. I'm not nervous about it because we wrote it, right? And we could simply go, shall we, we'll reinstate, we'll keep what it says, but we're leaving the one that's got everybody else in it. Why not? We're a sovereign country, we can do what we want. So the left, or whoever it is that's moaning, are very worried that all those rights that we have, the right not to be a slave, the right not, which of course we devised, we led it, right? This is the irony. So we'll just go, okay, all we're going to do is we're going to cut ties with the ECHR, but we're going to keep the terminology and just simply make sure that it stays in our laws, which of course is what we'll do anyway, because it's in our laws. That's how it was written. We already have everything covered, right? And then the Supreme Court of Britain becomes the last voice, the arbiter. And then I see other people going, if Britain leaves the EHRC, not the EHRC, sorry, Baroness, whoever it is, the ECHR, if people leave the ECHR, Britain leaves the EHR, I'm going to leave. I'm like, right, okay, let's start a GoFundMe. Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go that's better? Where are you going to go that's got better human rights than here? Go on, tell me, I'm waiting. Because if you think it's Norway and Sweden, you're living in cuckoo land. Go on, tell me where you think it is. And they won't be able to tell you. So I think we start a GoFundMe, and I think it should be called if Britain leaves the ECHR, these people will be leaving the country. GoFundMe with the subtitle, Rwanda is calling. We'll send them to Rwanda, right? So people are now going mad as well because this ECHR thing is about the boats in Rwanda. And they can't understand why all these terrible refugees that are fleeing Brie and French Stick and Sacha Distel, or whatever the hell it is they're fleeing from France, trying to get over here, sending them to Rwanda is a perfectly reasonable thing to do, because I don't understand what you think is wrong with Rwanda and its people. Has anybody taken 5 minutes to look and see what's going on in Rwanda? Has anybody taken 5 minutes to see the extraordinary strides they are making as a country and how exciting it must be to be part of that country building and actually to maintain a stable and, really a decent move forward? They're doing incredible things post the genocide. So my question to everybody who thinks it's a problem: what is your problem with Rwanda in the round? Why do you want them to go to Rwanda? And why do you think they've got to come here? This is a global issue, folks. And it should be dealt with in a global way. And I don't care where they come from or where they go to. So if they arrive in Germany, they should be assessed as who they are. What help do they need? What is it they're fleeing from? The usual stuff that you expect with asylum seekers. And then we give them asylum while we sort it out. And then we go, right, okay, we've got a job for you. It's in Rwanda. It's in Germany. It's in France. It's in wherever it may be. It's a global problem. It doesn't, If they're fleeing persecution, they don't care where they go. They don't care where they go. But if they're trying to get into Britain, that's a different story. That's a different story. And from a statehood perspective, we're in a serious position where the population is not behind this. I know that, the liberal elites in London, and some of us that like to think we're more enlightened, would like to believe that actually, that we know it's always a good thing and everybody. It's not. It's not a good thing when the population, that the folk are coming to join, are becoming hostile to the fact that we've got people coming to join us. That's statehood. We have to recognise that. We have to say, okay, we need to put the blockers on for a while. How are we going to do it? Because if you don't, we're going to have problems. We know that. Look at Germany. Look what happened to Germany. Look at what's happening over in other parts of Europe. And it's amazing to me that most of these commentators, that rattle on about the poor people fleeing French, deserts. Right? We must give them... No. Most of them have got money. I've seen them do it. If you've got that much money, buy 4 or 5 houses and put, 6 bedrooms in each house, a kitchen, a garden, and you pay for them to be here. Or give up a room in your house. I've said that to a few of my friends. Well, if you're so worried, give up a room. Oh, well, obviously I need the room for my work, and it's always the same, It's like, I'm a lefty, power to the people. Yeah, what are you going to do about your 3rd house? It's insane. Big fat hulking men in the army, right? Tiny little women in the police service. I don't want tiny little blokes there either, mind. Don't hit me. I want bruisers, intelligent bruisers. Suella Braverman getting a bashing because of immigration, right? Rishi Sunak scaring the crap out of everybody about the EHRC. What the hell's going on? At the same time, we're dragging autistic girls out onto the street and pulling their shoulders when we know they suffer from scoliosis. Whereas when we arrest a ball-eating, LARPing, dangerous, violent, murderous man, we apologise for it and walk him out the door. I don't get it. I don't get it. Do you get it? Tell me. I don't see what the hell is this all about. I do not understand. I just don't understand. And then we have the news today that ECHR, which is the funding body for STEM, has been given $5 million to promote critical social justice by the government. What are they doing? What are they doing? Where are they? We're going to have a Labour government, folks. It's looking almost inevitable to me at this point. I thought the government would have been out guns blazing by now, and they're not. It's utterly pathetic. Utterly pathetic. We're going to have a Labour government, and you're going to get 5 years of Labour government, and the people will get the government they deserve, and it's going to be hell on earth. Hell on earth. Hell on earth. Because this is what they're going to support, critical social justice. All the nonsense and the bleating from the left, which is not based on fact or reality, but just simple hyperbole. The people coming over in the boats are dying. Not only that, they are placing themselves in the hands of people who are not good people. We need to stop this criminal enterprise, and we need to stop it quick. Me, I'd just harpoon the boat and drag it back to France and then scuttle it. But that's just me. Right, so you don't have to get out of the shore. Right, get out, I'm going to scuttle the boat. All right, okay. No, monsieur, no. I'm sorry. They were with you first. Take them back. It's not about the individual. These are all individuals that would like to be somewhere else, but we don't know where they're coming from. We've got no way of knowing who they are. And it doesn't matter, because from a statehood perspective, the people of Great Britain, I feel And I don't usually use that word. I feel unease about this because the people of Great Britain are really, really accepting people until they're not. And if we're going to help people, we've got to get it right. And I think perhaps Rwanda's a way to go. And I know for certain that we shouldn't be pampering to hulking great rhinos in khaki pretending to be women. I know we shouldn't be putting up with police behaviour like we've seen on that video if what it seems to be is true, and it seems to me it's going to be a hard one to row back from if it's not. We shouldn't be putting up with that. We shouldn't be putting up with people moaning about the ECHR when they don't understand where the damn thing came from and its influence was originally in British law anyway. And I don't understand why they don't realise that if we don't get all of this under control, then an awful lot of things are going to get damaged very quickly. So vote Labour, by all means, vote for them. And I think you will, and I think you'll vote for them on a couple of reasons. One, because things are just so expensive, which the government could do something about but won't. And the other one being that you're just fed up with the Tories and you want to change. So you can have them if you like. I'll go on doing what I'm doing. I'll go on making warrior teachers and sending them out to change one person's mind at a time. And maybe sooner or later we'll recognise that the major problems that we've got as a country are not political at all. That actually the influx of people from outside our shores is not political, it's cultural. The fact that we've got a hulking rhino in a khaki uniform pretending to be a woman is not political, it's cultural. The fact that we think it's okay to do what they did to an autistic girl is not political, it's cultural. And the fact that we need to leave the ECHR is not political either, it's cultural. It's about our sovereignty. There's a reason the left dismissed the culture war as something that doesn't matter. It's because it matters so much. Other than that, I've got carpet men coming. Going to put my carpet down. Or on the parlance of lesbians, somebody's going to lay me rug. That's my Friday mull. Because there was so much, and I just thought, what am I going to do here? What am I going to do? What we got coming up? Trish has written a brilliant article. So I'm going to do one of Trish's articles, which you'll see in the next couple of days. There's a few meaty things coming up, so I should be getting them done once my carpet's down, and then we'll set them up so you've got them to look at. Anyway, it's Friday. Go and have a good time. Don't sit here listening to me. It's culture. Start talking about culture, because culture is upstream of politics, and whatever the culture says, the politicians will do. See you later.